Welcome back to Tales of the Getaway Guy, an adventure into 23 years of TV getaways all across New York State and beyond. Our travels will also venture into 23 years of radio days where my broadcasting career began. Hold on, I've got everything you'll need for your next getaway. Hello again, Mike O'Brien, your Getaway Guy. And today we're going to kind of focus more on the radio days portion of our program, although we will hint on a few places to go to travel-wise. But I have a special guest today. I've worked with this guy, well, it seems like forever. We worked for many, many years together on one of the radio stations I worked for, WVOR. Say hello to Steve Hausmann.
Mike O'Brien.
Steve, I'm telling you, I was just telling Joe that
our producer,
we always were together, but the tables were turned. You were always interviewing me when you were on the B.
Right, because I did that, the public affairs show that you hear every Sunday morning when you're getting home late in the morning.
Yes.
I'm not home yet, and this stuff is anyway. So we would do a lot of those. We'd talk about your Getaway Guy books and your love for food, and it was always great because we were always on the same page.
I know. It was kind of nice because neither of us had enough time to get together socially. But so this was kind of like our social moment.
Right.
We kind of caught up with family and friends and all the things we were doing. Yeah. You've been traveling a lot. You and Julie have been everywhere. I'm kind of jealous. Where have you been recently?
Well, I'm retired.
Yep.
So that gives me a lot of time to get out of the house, which is a must. We've done a lot. Our son Stevie is now a college professor in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Okay, number one, that's not right.
Tell me about it. Where did he's a PhD. Where did that
Yeah, he was
come
just
from?
a little kid last time I saw him.
Oh my gosh, and we'll talk about those days.
Okay.
So we've driven out to Minneapolis a couple of times. It's an interesting drive. It's about a 15-hour drive. Exactly halfway is South Bend, Indiana, Notre Dame.
Okay.
So we stay there for a night, then go off to Minnesota.
Nice.
So we've done that a couple of times. His girlfriend of 12 years. What do you call a girlfriend of 12 years? It's not his wife.
No, it's
not his significant other. I think that's a hackneyed.
I don't think there is a name for it.
Well, we just call her Monica. She is a doctor. She's in her residency out in Portland, Oregon.
Man.
So we've been out there. I'm just back from a golf trip to Vegas.
So jealous.
Julie and I are trying to get away. There's your word, get away. At least once every 6 weeks.
Nice.
Like over right after Christmas. Wow. We're going to go to Watkins Glen for a couple of days. Stay down there.
Yeah.
And, we love Skinny Atlas.
Yes.
It's an easy trip.
Yeah.
We tried to go to Canada. We love Niagara-on-the-Lake. I know you're familiar with that great spot.
Tell me about the story. You had a little difficulty. And people should know this because, it's not as easy to get to Canada now when you just kind of want to. You used to be able to just jump in the car, bring your passport, and go.
It's open. Canada's open to Americans, but there are restrictions, or there's hoops you got to jump through. Let's put it that way. You have to have a negative COVID test, the up-the-nose test.
Done here in the States.
Yes. Within 72 hours of your arrival in Canada.
Okay.
So in our situation, we were going to go on a Wednesday. We had reservations on Wednesday in Niagara-on-the-Lake, so we had to have the test on Sunday.
Okay.
So we went to a local drugstore where you can do a drive-in test.
Right.
We did the test, and they said you'll have the test back in plenty of time. Wednesday came when we wanted to drive up to Canada. We didn't have the results yet.
Oh, no. So you couldn't get in?
We had to cancel.
Yeah. So what else do you need to get into Canada? I mean, there were the days when you used to be able to just go to Toronto, and I did so many shows in Toronto.
Yeah, I saw a lot of them.
But now you've got to do different
there was
things.
a Canadian site, a Canadian website.
Yes.
And I did look it up on my phone. I'm kind of out of the Canada realm right now, but it's a website where you have to put in all the information, where you're going, how long you're going to be, where you're going to be staying, if you get sick while you're up there, where you are going to stay while you're sick.
Wow.
And all that stuff has to be filled out, including the proof of the negative test.
Sure.
So, and I'm okay with that. Certainly I understand it. I'm not.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I'm all for doing things as they have to be done.
Absolutely. It's good to know. Yep. I mean, the days of just jumping in the car and going to Toronto for the weekend, it's going to take a little bit of work.
There are easy places to find online for how you have to go through these hoops to get into Canada. Easy to find.
Good.
And easy to do once you have the test in place.
Okay. because I still want to do more getaways there.
Yeah.
We had so much fun up there. So the year's 1981 when I joined WVOR. And I'm trying, on the way over here, I'm trying to remember exactly when you got on board at VOR.
Well, I moved here in March of 1987.
Okay.
With a 1-week-old baby in tow.
There's Stevie.
There he is. And I came here to work at 98PXY with Scott and Diane.
I remember that.
Scott Spazzano and I go way back to when he, in fact, worked in my hometown of Boston. Not only did he work in Boston, we worked at the same radio station in Boston.
Wow.
So I, in effect, have known Scott Spazzano longer than I've known my wife, and I've been married 30 million years now.
Well, I remember when you came from PXY to WVOR, we were all new friends. We got together at your house a lot, and we had so much fun.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you were doing the morning show.
I was with Tony and Dee.
Yes.
And I was also doing sports on Wham.
That's right.
So I had to jump between the two stations over the course of the morning, which was, well.
Those were the early days of multitasking. Right. When management said, you could also be doing it. And we did.
Let's get the most out of it. Let's wring every bit out of you.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the ice storm, which we will, because Steve and I have a very interesting story about the ice storm when it hit Rochester and a little bit behind the scenes of radio days then. Wow. First, I want to talk about what I had for dinner last night. Nino's. Oh, my gosh. Where else can you go where they bring the pizza out to you and they open the box so you can give them your approval for the Nino? I mean, nobody does that, but they do here because this is old style Sicilian Nino's pizza. I mean, look at it. It is beautiful. It's a work of art. I barely don't even want to grab a slice out of that work, but I do. And then,
look at that.
I know that was me last night. Look at this.
Wow.
And see, come on, there's the proof. Nino's Pizzeria, they're on Culver Road near Merchants, a hole in the wall of the best caliber. If you want thick Sicilian-style pizza, go to Nino's. Say hi to Giacomo for me. Tell them that the Getaway guy sent you, and you'll love it. Nino's Pizzeria, again, on Culver near Merchants. You're going to just love it if you're in the mood for pizza.
You've been going there since I've known you.
I've always talked about it.
You introduced me to the spot.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I went, and it's awesome. Awesome pizza.
It's just old world.
It is.
And they do everything so different than your everyday pizza joint. So you'll like it. Back to the ice storm. Steve Hausmann is our guest here on today's podcast. And Steve and I have done radio for years, mostly on WVOR, the Heart of Gold.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I know, the Heart of Gold.
VOR 100.5.
Yes, just amazing.
Well, for a long time, it was just 100.
Right. They didn't want to bother with a 0.5 with what you were saying, but how many times did we say WVOR? Oh my gosh. But it was those were the great days.
They were.
It was 1991, the ice storm.
Yes.
And why was I on the morning show? I'm trying to remember.
I can tell you exactly why. Yeah. Tony and Dee, you were primarily the guy who was on after the morning show.
Right, midday show.
Yeah, midday. You would come in and, as we were wrapping up, you'd come into the studio and you'd say, where's the weather? Where's everything? Make sure you were very fastidious. You wanted the studio just right.
It's funny, people's take on things you did. I don't know that.
But Tony and Dee were down at Disney.
Oh, that's right.
We would go down to Disney as a group once a year.
Right.
And they were down there. The two of them went this time. And if I'm not mistaken, during that time, wasn't that the time when they found out that they were leaving VOR to go to Warm?
Well, it may have been.
It may have been.
It was just a really weird time.
But the point is that you were doing the morning show
in their place.
In their place, and I was in the studio with you. So that's when we got to know each other. And then the ice storm.
Yes, it's March the 3rd, the evening. It was a Sunday night.
Yeah.
We were preparing for the Monday morning show.
Right.
And I wasn't used to the morning show that much. I mean, I didn't do it all the time. So for me, it was like, here I go. I'll do my best. But I knew I had Steve Hausmann with me, so he would definitely guide me appropriately. But it was that night that the ice storm hit. And then the next morning, we had to, little did we know, I couldn't get out of my house.
Right.
I couldn't leave because all the trees on my property had come down and blocked the driveway.
Yeah.
It was a wonderland of ice.
The sound, we'll never forget that sound of trees cracking.
Yes.
Wondering if that tree is going to fall into your house or into a neighbor's house.
It felt like you were in a war.
Yeah.
And the bombs were coming down. And you'd hear the crack, and then you just held on and hoped. Well, I couldn't get out of my house. And you were going to come by and pick me up, I believe.
I believe, yes. You lived about, I won't give too much away, but you lived down by St. John Fisher.
Yes, yeah.
And I lived right at East and Clover at the time. So it was a mile, 2 miles to get to your house. So I remember driving down East Ave. And now, remember, it's about 3 in the morning, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, which is another thing I don't miss about being retired. Believe me.
Exactly.
And I'm weaving around trees, and I got to where your house was. And you're right, you couldn't get to your house.
No, I had to crawl out of my front door and crawl down the driveway underneath trees the size of Buicks. I mean, they were big. And plus you were taking in the fact that, oh my gosh, look what's happened.
Yeah.
And again, it was so early in the morning, it was pitch black. And I remember your car down at the end of the driveway. And I think you were, just follow the whistle, Mike. Or something.
Yeah, probably.
And I finally got to your car, and then we made it to the station. But I'll never forget that ride in your car down East Avenue, I believe.
Yeah.
And I have chills right now just thinking about the sights.
Right.
It wasn't pretty.
It was pretty.
Yeah.
But it wasn't pretty.
It was disastrous.
Yeah. You didn't know how to feel about it.
I know. I'd never seen anything like that before.
And remember, now this is 4 in the morning. No one else is on the road.
Right.
So we're driving in a winter wonderland of ice. And I remember we got into work, and we knew that this is going to be the story of the day. We didn't know it was going to be the story of the next month.
I know it.
But you recall that I stayed at your house for probably a week because we had no power.
You had no power. We, for some reason, had power.
Yeah.
And so, yes, you did say, and I sent you an invoice, I remember, the next day. No,
yes, and I'll pay it next week.
Yeah, right.
When I get my next paycheck? Oh, that's right.
Oh, you don't get those anymore. Oh.
But yeah, my son was only 3 years old, 4 years old, whatever it was.
Yeah.
91,
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And, we had no power in the house. And I remember we, before you were nice enough to let us stay with you for a couple of days, we had moved the couch up to the fireplace, flying through firewood like there's no tomorrow because we didn't have a generator.
Oh, it was unreal. Let's talk a little bit in a minute about what we did on the air that morning. Again, I'm new to the morning show as it is. I'll throw in the fact that there's an ice storm.
Yeah.
What direction do we go in? We'll talk about that. Jim's on Main. I didn't know that you're a frequent customer of Jim's on Main.
Oh my gosh, I'm a big fan of Jim's.
I can't believe
I remember I used to go to the one on Winton a lot.
Yes, the best.
Yes.
That was
And
cool.
now they're, the location now is so central to everybody. It is just a great feel-good spot if you want a great breakfast.
Yes, exactly. It's good food. It's cheap. It's and it's like family there. Elena and her kids are there. It's just a great place. Jim's on Main if you're looking for good diner. And I love any place that has a counter. I'm there. I hate walking into a restaurant for breakfast and it's all booths.
I'm with you on that one. I'll eat at the counter at a fancy restaurant.
Yeah. Oh,
sure.
Absolutely.
I love sitting at the counter.
Yep. The counter's the best. And look at that. From eggs to pancakes to my favorite is the late riser. It's like everything you want for breakfast for one low price.
Well, that would be me now.
Yeah. I'll meet you there for breakfast.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Jim's on Main. It's down from the Auditorium Theater. They also have gyms at the mall, Grease Ridge Center, and they're just good people. Jim's on Main is closed on Mondays, at least for the time being, until pandemic stuff is over with, or they adjust their hours. But check it out. It's and you'll probably run into Steve and I there. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if we do, we'll buy you, Steve will buy you.
Hold on. Slow down, man. Slow down.
Slow down. I do get carried away. So
I will buy you that second cup of coffee.
Okay. Well, it's free. Okay. And by the way, your coffee cup never goes empty. They
That's
keep
true.
filling it.
True,
I walk out of there so hyper you can't believe it.
Remember the one when they were on Winton Road? They had everybody's individual coffee cups lined up.
Yes. Yeah.
Do they still do that?
No, they don't do that at Jim's on Main, but the old place on Winton
Everybody's
was
cup
classic.
Yeah, it was.
It was so small, but that's what made it so much fun.
It's great thinking back to the old days.
Yes. And speaking of which, so we're on the air. We're doing the ice storm. What did we do, like closings? What did we do exactly? Do you remember?
I will have to dig down into my memory to try to remember what happened. I'm sure we were doing no schools. The following districts are closed.
Yes.
Avon.
Endlessly.
Right on down alphabetically.
Yeah,
I always
yeah.
felt bad for the people in Webster because they had to wait for the whole damn
To
list.
get to W,
Yeah, I've often thought it would be a great idea to every other time do it reverse alphabetically.
Right.
So you start with Webster and go back
Yes.
to the A's so that the poor people in Webster don't have to listen for the whole.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that never caught on.
Well, we it was quite a show, and I remember that, and being there for a long time
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
because no one could get to work.
Right, so you had to do the morning show and then your regular.
Right. Then the
hours.
midday show.
Yeah.
And as I recall, they paid me double. Oh no, they didn't do that. Oh my gosh. But those were radio days, man. And that's what you had to do. I mean, when things got weird, and they did, whether it was a snowstorm or in this case, the ice storm, I mean, you just did double duty and it was crazy.
I'm sure we began the morning just, playing records like we always, playing music like we always did. But then probably people were calling in to say, we have no power or this is going on, the trees are down. And then it became a fully informational show.
Right.
And I think we did that for a couple of, probably, I mean, Wham was the AM station. So they remember Alan Harris and all those days. But we felt compelled at the same time to do our share. One, you don't want to lose your listenership to another station.
Right.
Two, people become dependent on you because, you're your favorite radio station.
Right.
So why not do what radio does best and serve the community? So I'm sure we went into all sorts of local, power outages.
Sure.
Remember the big push was for dry ice?
That's right.
Everybody was looking to where they could get dry ice.
That's right. But then I always had the thought, how are people listening to us if power is out throughout 95% of the county, unless they're in their car, but they wouldn't be in their car because you can't get out of your garage. Yeah, and I thought
Didn't
about
you
that.
have a portable radio back then?
Probably.
Probably.
What do you mean back then? I still have it. It's a transistor radio.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a word that half
Yeah, what is
your
that?
subscribers don't know what it is. But yeah, it had to be that way. It had to be people who had battery operated radios.
Yeah.
Because back in those days, they would say, always be prepared.
Right.
And part of the preparation kit would be a radio.
Have a radio with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how people called. Because I don't know if the phone lines.
I don't think the phone lines were active. I don't think we were getting anyone calling saying,
How
hey.
did we ever get through life in those days?
I don't know. I couldn't believe we just made it to the radio station.
Yeah.
I mean, that in itself was so unbelievable, just getting there.
But it was such a great feeling when we were done every day, knowing that we had helped.
Yes.
Hopefully it helped.
Right.
That we were there for people and we could, we could be who we were and keep people calm. And not freaked out over what was going on. That's probably the best feeling that I had in all my radio career.
Yeah, yeah.
Was that you were providing, you were filling needs for people.
Yeah, and that was satisfying for sure. Our guest is Steve Hausmann from local radio and much, much more. He even did a stint on TV. You know him from Channel 10.
More than a stint. I did almost 15 years.
Yeah,
of TV.
you did. It was a long time.
Yeah.
But I think most people recognize you by your voice.
Probably.
Do you get that sometimes in the grocery store? Yeah.
I still get it. When I was on TV, and I'll just say right out front, TV was good.
Yeah.
But I loved radio.
Yeah.
Because you were in control of every part of what you were doing.
Right.
In TV, and you've done enough TV to know. Although, if I'm not mistaken, you shot all your Getaway guy stuff yourself.
I did it myself. Yeah.
But in a TV studio, when you're doing sports on Sunday night, you're dependent on the camera people to get it right. You're dependent on the people who do the graphics to get it right.
Yeah.
There was nothing worse than watching, being on doing the scores and seeing that they spelled Philadelphia wrong. And you can't just go up to them after the show and say, hey, what the heck was that? Because, you got to stay on everyone's good side.
That's right.
The point being, a lot of it was out of your control.
It was.
And that's why I loved radio, because I controlled everything. I wrote it myself. I delivered it myself.
Yeah.
And, so that's what I loved about radio. TV was fun. And I do now, I've been out to TV for 15 years, maybe a little more.
Okay.
So I don't think people recognize me anymore, but they do recognize my voice because they still have a presence on the air. Yeah. It's funny because people will say, I loved when you did the weather. And I never did the weather on TV, but I would say, oh, yeah.
Yeah, you agree with them.
Yeah, I agree with them because that's their That's their memory.
I get people that say, "Oh, you're the food guy," and I go, "Yep,
Yeah.
yep," and I don't disagree
Oh,
anymore.
God.
I don't correct them.
But you're right about being recognized. You worry. My wife Julie noticed everybody who recognized me. I was not good at going, people are looking at me.
Right. She caught it before you did.
But I wanted to make sure that we weren't arguing or disagreeing over something. Or
You do have to be minding your P's and Q's in public.
And I tell kids who are getting into radio or getting into TV, people's first impression of you is the one that they'll remember.
That's right.
And when you know someone who does radio or TV, and you're not in the business, like if your neighbor has an impression of who you are, that's the impression that they share.
Right.
So you always have to be aware of your first impression that you make on people.
Good point. Very good point. By the way, we have a podcast question coming up in just a couple of seconds that will feature my mistakes and totally embarrass me. If you like bloopers, we're going to get to a question regarding that in just a moment. Rock City Grit. If you're looking for personal one-on-one training, these people are so good. It's literally one-on-one, and it's personal training sessions, and it isn't expensive, and there's no contract. So you go for one session, I'm done.
Is that you?
No, I wish. Yeah, I haven't been able to do that for years.
Really? But you could do it at one time?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Well, it was a late night. It was a Friday night.
Just got home and
exactly. I think I'll do this. RockCityGrit.com. That's ROC City Grit.com. Go there. Tell them the Getaway guy sent you. Group classes, boot camp classes, or one-on-one training. It's inexpensive, and I'll tell you, we're getting up to January where everybody wants to make their, their little promises to themselves to get in shape. This is the way to do it. It's inexpensive, and one-on-one is the best way to do it.
Sure.
Rock City Grit. I think you're going to enjoy that. Let's go to that podcast question. Mike the Getaway Guy at gmail.com. That's where you can go to ask a question, or if you want to request one. Notice how I always fit this in, but if you want to request one of my travel books for the holiday season or after, Steve will tell you how useful these are, won't you, Steve?
This is the this is the kind of thing you want to keep in the glove box or in the little area behind the passenger seat, that little area where you can shove stuff. If you're thinking, where should we go?
Yeah.
There's places near and far, and it outlines perfect what the pros and cons of every spot. There's spots that you have curated yourself because you've been to every single one of them. And it's just a great, both of them. I wasn't surprised when the second edition came out.
Really?
No, because, there were so many local places, most of them within a couple of hours of here.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you have Florida in there.
I don't.
No.
And specifically what we did was mostly day trips.
Yeah.
Trips you can do in a day or spend the night. There's 50 in each book, and what I'm doing is volume 2, which got better than volume. You learn from the first volume.
Yes.
You do a better job with the second one, so now there's 2. Grab the second one, volume 2. I'll throw in volume 1 for free, $14.95 plus shipping and handling. And tell me who you want me to sign it to. A lot of people want to give them as gifts.
Oh.
Just go to my Gmail account, Mike the Getaway Guy at gmail.com. That's Mike the Getaway Guy at gmail.com. Just tell me who you want it for, and we'll make it all work for you, okay?
This is the time to pick up those books because we're all dying to get back
out of the
here.
house. Yeah. So
Great.
there's 50 of them. So there's 100 of them here, which could be a lot of fun. Here's the podcast question. Liz from Rochester writes, I enjoy watching your getaways. You're so polished on camera. Do you ever mess up? Yes, I do, Liz. Like you wouldn't believe. And that's why every year at this time of year when I was doing the show on Channel 9, I'd put together that year's worth of bloopers. I would save all my mistakes. Just volumes of
and not a lot of people who are in front of the camera are willing to show that side of
absolutely.
themselves.
You got to laugh at yourself.
Absolutely.
Because I made some horrendous. But anyway, we put them together, and I would do like a compilation of bloopers, and I'm going to show that to you. Well, how about right now?
Hey, I'm up for a laugh.
Here it comes. Hello again, Mike O'Brien, your getaway guy. Today, I'm lost. Well, I want to be lost.
23 years of getaways and mistakes you never got to see.
Today I'm in Auburn, New York, Niagara Falls, Canada, Enfield, Durand, Eastman Park, Athens, Greece, beautiful Seneca Falls, South Bristol, Bandera, Naples, Angelica, New York, beautiful Carefree, Arizona, Buffalo, Shenango County, Rush, Cooperstown, Goat Island. You ready for some fun? I'm going to take you on a great adventure. Come on. This weekend is all about fairs and festivals. In fact, I'm one of the, isn't that weird? This weekend is all about fairs and festivals. In fact, I'm one. One is the loneliest number. And of course, the windmill has stopped.
The mouth wasn't the only thing that wouldn't work.
The windmill stopped. Just when I need to show the windmill moving, the windmill stops. It'd be funny if it started to... I got it! I got it right there in the left arm. Medic! And the Finger Lakes Cheese Trail continues. Instead of milk from goats, this will be cheese made from the milk of... There we go. Nice little breeze up here on the hills over Penn Yan.
Working with food and trying to remember your lines in the heat presented a challenge this past summer.
Elk meat. Oh. There's a meatball on the floor. I might eat it.
2010, a year of a lot of droppings, in more ways than one.
And here's another. Oops. I dropped my chamois. Jeez. Okay, and I'm stepping in dog poop. Oh my God. Hey, your getaway guy. Today, I'm going to put this on. I'm going to get on board that, and I'm going to get dangerously close. Dangerously? Talk much? And I've got a new neighborhood I want to take you to. I want to take you to first. Who wears a tutu in Toronto? Desmond Tutu, that's who.
Mechanical malfunctions happen when you least expect it.
Here we go. Oh! We could all use a little extra culture in our lives. Come on. I can't get in. Hey, your getaway guy. Today, I'm going to put this on, and then I'm going to get on board that, and then we're going to drive. Whew, long day.
And it never fails, the unexpected interruption.
Hey, how about a nice, affordable family getaway? Whoops, someone's been shot. Oh, happening tomorrow here at the Rochester Public Market, taking the place of all the fruits and vegetables. You've got... You've got several people.
At the end of a day, you tend to get tired and a little giddy.
So when looking for a nice place to spend the night, you might want to consider the Hillside Inn here in Wyoming, New York.
It's no laughing matter when you're trying to do your work and you get those untimely interruptions.
Starting at 2:30 this afternoon inside the Sibley Center building. Okay. Hey, Mike O'Brien, your getaway guy, back again with another favorite stay in the state. Now, today I'm in...
And it's not just man-made sounds that get in the way, it's man himself.
Now, holiday gifts. I do need to do some shopping. Oh, I've got a great idea. All right. So when looking for a nice place to spend the night, you might want to consider... Is it me? No, it's me.
And then there's the day that you want to capture that one scene of a nice family enjoying fun of fall at a local farm market. But no matter what, some people just don't want to show their face on camera. So you go to another market, and everyone wants to be in the show.
Hi there.
Hi.
Oh, come right in. What the heck? Really?
Now, when it comes to television, they say never work with kids or dogs. But sometimes you just have to learn it for yourself.
And today's itinerary begins here at Hunt Country Vineyards in the Finger Lakes. This is Gus. He'll be your tour guide. Come on, Gus. Come here. Come on.
And then there's the part about never working with kids.
Now let's walk this way. Follow me.
Now on this one, keep your eyes on the white metal pole.
You know where we are? I'm lost. Any ideas?
They have no idea. Whoops, that pole's gonna be a problem. And today's itinerary takes us here to Hunt Country Vineyards in the Finger Lakes. This is Gus. He'll be your tour guide. Come on, Mike, come on. Come on. Where you going?
Sometimes the cold can affect what you do.
But if you want to save it for this Wednesday night, Valentine's Day, or dress warm, then this is the place to be. Nazareth College in Pittsburgh. Is this romantic or what? Where'd she go? Did she fall out? But if you want to save it for this Wednesday night, Valentine's Day, but if you want to save it for this Wednesday night, Valentine's Day, I get some on you? Another treasure from American renowned architect Frank Lloyd Wright. Check it out. And I don't know where I am. Oh, from Derby, New York. Where's my hat? I'm Mike O'Brien, the Getaway Guy. Tickets are $14, $10 for students, and suggested. Can we move this over? I think just 1 foot. That's it. I think we're done. Tickets are $14. Come on in, it's free. It's on me. Here at Grey Cliff, another treasure from American. It's been a long day, folks. Very long day. You figure it out.
Perfect for the whole family. They're coming up next.
Whoa, I'm going the wrong direction. Hey, it's almost here. The weekend. Are you kidding me? Oh, shit. I mean, I'm like, is this ever gonna end? Mike O'Brien, your Getaway Guy, almost hit by a truck. You gotta have some homemade soda and donuts. And the W.M. Hincher family settled here back in 1792. Mike O'Brien. I'm joking, excuse me. There's a lot happening this week. Whoa, I almost fell.
Oh my God! Look who you are!
Let me look. Simmer down. Does this look okay?
Mike the Getaway Guy. Oh my God!
Let me
Just long
you're
gone.
sweating a little bit.
Cut back. So I sweat every day. Nice to see you. And there you go.
You made my day.
Oops. Thank you. I'm going to take you with me on all my getaways, I think. There's even a student price. Seniors $450. Hey, Toots. It's not every day you shake hands with Abe Lincoln, you know? It throws you off. Sorry. Until next time, Mike O'Brien, your Getaway Guy. Not too bad, huh? Cheers.
So I remember at the end of each Getaway Guy piece, and when I found out that you didn't have a camera person, you had to set it all up yourself.
Yeah.
So at the end, you'd say goodbye and you'd kind of walk off.
Right.
How far off did you walk?
Oh, miles.
Did you?
Well, here's the thing. A lot of times I couldn't walk far because there was a wall there, but the shot was beautiful.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I would walk off and literally go face to face with the wall just to get out of the camera shot. But did whatever you had to do. But my whole idea was no one knew that I was filming my own stuff.
Right.
Because I kept moving.
Yeah.
I had as much motion going on as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So the camera wasn't moving, but I was, and it almost created the same effect.
Did you teach that to yourself, and how did you come up with it? Because you didn't have a big TV background.
Not really.
You didn't have anyone to coach you, really.
No, but I did have people at the station. Andy Hines was the chief photographer at the time. Then Todd Krupa, who sat next to me, were like roommates. But they would coach me and say, they would tell me things that they knew that I didn't, and they would suggest oh so delicately how to do it next time. Yeah. And frankly, from those guys, I learned so much. So that really helped. But over time, I got better and better, and I really enjoyed what I was doing. Yeah. I love the editing process.
Did you?
You could make anything really happen. But knowing what you wanted to have happen in the edit bay was the inspiration while you were out in the field.
Because while you're doing the piece in the field, you're
Yeah.
thinking, how am I going to put this together?
Exactly.
What do I need? What
Yep.
other shots? And-
Yeah. So I had the story in my head while I was out there. I just had to get those shots to make it happen in the edit bay. So for me, shooting my own stuff was a benefit.
Yeah.
And I think it made me better.
Did it happen the same way in the books?
Yeah, volume 1 was good, but we learned so much. My business partner and I learned so much from volume 1 that volume 2, it was better because people went through volume 1 and said, I wish you had done this and that.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
did do it in volume 2. So thank you for asking that.
I had a program director. Every program director I've had has been younger than me, if you think about it.
Yeah, all
and
of
I
them
had
for
one
me.
program director at the B who said to me once, he said, how hard is it for you to have these program directors all the time who are telling you stuff that you already know?
Yeah.
You know?
It's hard.
But I realized, this is going to sound kind of weird because my wife hates it when I say this, but I've realized the stuff you learn when you think you know it all is the most important stuff you learn.
Say that again.
The stuff you learn when you think you know it all
Right.
is the most important stuff you learn.
That makes sense.
So I went with that. Always tried to pick up, and especially the way radio changed over the years.
Right.
If we do a remote, we'd have to do a video
Yeah.
that we're at Joe's liquor store.
Yes.
Which I was there a lot.
Of course you were.
So you learn how to do all these different things that you never had to do before. I mean, we went back to the days where it's just whatever comes out of the speakers is the most important stuff.
Right.
But we found out pretty quickly that it's way more than that.
It is.
And I tell kids who think about getting into radio, be ready. It's because it's more than just shouting the words.
It is. And I always tell kids or anybody getting into the business, you're only as good as your last take.
Yes.
Getting back to people remember you by the best stuff you've done.
I was a nervous wreck when I would do stand-ups on TV for Channel 10.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It was like everyone seemed to me, I wasn't good at ad-libbing. I would have an idea what I was going to say, but I felt it had to come out like a radio script.
Sure.
So I felt like I was like in 5th grade trying to memorize my lines for the class play.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was always awful. I was not good at, I was okay anchoring. I liked anchoring, but being out in the field was a nerve-wracking experience. I would sweat.
Well, especially if you're live, which
gosh.
you were. But that was the beauty of shooting your own stuff because I could just keep doing it until I was happy.
Yeah.
And speaking of happy, man, when I go to the North Side Inn in East Rochester, man, am I happy. Go say hi to our friends at the North Side. If you're looking for good home-style Italian food, I go to the North Side. I do. Now, they're not open on Mondays right now either, so something to keep in mind. But Dennis and Donnie and Chopper and Jackie and Teddy, my favorite waitress, it's just a great place for good Italian food. They're in East Rochester. By the way, they're doing a Christmas Eve dinner. So if you don't want to cook Christmas Eve, go to the North Side Inn. Starts at 3 o'clock. You have to make your reservations. That's the North Side Inn, East Rochester, one of my favorite Italian places. And I think that about does it for today's show. Steve Hausmann, our guest today. Can we get some applause? I'm sure we've got...
Well, one's better than none, I guess. It's
Oh, Joe will take care of that. And thanks, Steve, very much for being with us today.
my pleasure, Mike. It's great to see you. I haven't seen you in quite a while.
It's been a while.
We've been texting back and forth.
Yeah.
And I've been looking forward to this date. I really have.
Good.
And anytime I can ever help you with anything,
I appreciate it. Absolutely.
I'm available. I'm not free, but I'm available.
I'll have you back. We'll talk about your cruise.
Oh, yes.
And where you guys go when you go to the Cape.
Oh, the beautiful island of Nantucket.
Exactly. Let's save
Oh,
that
my
for
gosh.
next time, okay?
Be happy to do it, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Steve Hausmann.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Friend of mine, Jim's on Main, Nino's Pizzeria, the North Side Inn, and of course, Classy Wolf Media. Joe, thanks very much. And thank you for joining us. Until next time, I'm Mike O'Brien, your Getaway Guy.